Hey, how's it going, Darlene? My name is Jack here with Mr. and Mrs. Leads. Hope you got some insight out of the site audit in terms of what you need to do to optimize your site. What I wanted to do was, and follow up, was actually do a video analysis and talk about what I can see as a search marketer that does this day in and day out, and kind of analyze your site and what we need to do is to start kind of ranking you for the keywords that you want to rank for. And hopefully in the process you can see that we know what we're talking about, and if you don't have the time to implement the stuff that we talk about on your own, or the expertise and that kind of thing, then you would hire us to do this work for you to get you found and start getting you a lot more business on your e-commerce online business site. All right, so without further ado, let me go ahead and actually just get started. The first thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to use one of our tool here called Ahrefs. Ahrefs allows search marketers like myself to look at the metrics on a site and see kind of where we're at. And so what I can see right off the bat is that the site has just been launched, and there has been no SEO work done. The reason I can see that is because you only have one referring domain and one backlink onto the site. And if it was an established site with SEO done to the site, you would have 300 to 400 referring domains, 3,000 to 4,000 backlinks. That shows Google that you're the kind of website that is trusted and that other people like to talk about. Because basically, in order to get you found for the keywords that you want to rank for online, so when someone's typing into Google like plus size clothing or plus size wear, that kind of thing, why your website should rank higher than any other website basically comes down to SEO factors, and a part of that is the number of referring domains and backlinks. Because the referring domains and backlinks basically shows Google how trustworthy your site is and how authoritative a website is, and those two things have a huge integral role in determining why your website ranks higher than your competition for the keywords that we want to go after. All right, so now in case you didn't know what a referring domain or backlink is, it's basically any website out there on the internet that links back to your website via a hyperlink. So for example, if there's a blog out there that's called the plussizeclothingblog.com, and they make a new blog post and they say, hey, if you're looking for the best plus size clothing, check out shopcambra.com. And so then there'll be a link that links back to your website. So if anyone clicked on that link, it would link back to your site. So just in the fact that another website is linking back to your site is actually tracked by Google. And Google crawls through all the websites that are out there on the internet, and anytime another website links back to your website gets credit for it. And so in this case, that would be considered a referring domain, and that link, that hyperlink that links back to your website, is considered a backlink. And so at the end of the day, you want a lot of these websites. It's kind of like a popularity contest. You want a lot of websites to be talking about your site, to be linking back to your site, because it shows Google that you're the kind of website that other websites like to talk about, and you're the kind of website that other websites like to refer their own visitors to, because they're basically like, hey, check out this website, hey, check out this link, check out this business and organization. All right, and so you want a lot of these. At the end of the day, you want at least 300 referring domains on about 1,000 to 3,000 backlinks, and that's going to really put you at that authoritative level where you're going to be found for a lot of the keywords that you want to go after. All right, and so obviously this is new. We're starting from ground zero, and it means that we have some work to do for sure. Obviously, your website it looks good, but it still needs to be fleshed out. In my personal opinion. I think the top page looks good, and I think that the images look great, but we need to tighten up on a lot of your sections, making sure that the pages themselves this actually isn't bad. I think that what I would do? I would just kind of look at other clothing websites, e-commerce stores that are out there, and then kind of see what you can do to implement those kind of features on your site, because at the end of the day, people are going to look at your site, people are going to look at other people's websites, and if your website isn't just as good, or if not better than theirs, odds are they're probably going to go with that other website over your website, unless you have like a phenomenal pricing or phenomenal reviews or photos or something just kind of clicks with them, right? All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is actually type in a potential keyword that people might be typing into Google to our Keywords Explorer tool to kind of see what kind of metrics are behind that. So, whoa, ton of searches per month for this keyword, 108,000 searches per month, and so that is a ridiculous amount. Now, if you were to get on the first page for this keyword, plus size clothing, you would, I don't know if you have another job or anything like that, but hands down, this would become a huge business. You would do an incredible amount of business yearly, and no doubt in my mind that you would be killing it. But obviously, it's a long road ahead to get you to be found on the first page for this keyword. Not impossible, but since we're starting from ground zero, a lot of work and time for sure. So actually, this is probably a good segue for me to talk about organic SEO, and that this isn't something that is going to happen immediately, and you have to understand that this is a long-term investment. So if you're looking for immediate results, this is probably not going to be your best bet. But if you understand that this is something that does take time, then that's something that we can definitely talk about. Because as someone that has over 30 plus clients in our portfolio, and for doing this for years and years, this is something that we know. And so if there's anyone out there that's promising in the world and saying that they can get you ranked within the first couple of months, they're just straight lying to you, unfortunately, and they're just trying to take your money, and that's that. I'm trying to be transparent and honest with you and letting you know that this SEO does take time, and how the process goes is basically we do our SEO, we get you more authority, and then you might go from like the 10th page to maybe the 9th page, and then we do a little bit more of our SEO. You go from the 9th page to the 7th page, and then so on and so forth. But you don't just immediately go from not being found on Google at all to immediately on the first page within a couple of months. That's just not something that happens. Rarely, if maybe you're serving a local market and it's a very small niche where there's barely any competitors for that keyword, then it might be possible. But for something that's like an e-commerce store where you're trying to rank for national keywords like this, it's just not something that happens. So that's where you need to make sure that you go out of your way to understand that SEO does take time. And if you understand that dichotomy of how SEO works and how us as search marketers have to go about doing our process, then it's definitely something that we can talk about and something that we can look forward with. All right. So besides that, though, I think the site, obviously, like I said, just needs to be fleshed out a little bit more. We need to do some of our SEO so that Google can understand what kind of keywords you want to rank for, as well as what the site is about. But then from there, it's a lot of this is just us doing our outreach to get bloggers to talk about your site, to get directories and all kinds of different publications and press releases and things like that to help get your name out there on the web, and then for Google to crawl through all those mentions, and then finally come back to your site and recognize that your site has been talked about and get you that credit and get you found for all the various keywords that people are typing into Google. All right, so I hope you got some insight out of this at the very least, Arlene, and if you're interested, would love to talk to you further about how we'd be able to help and get your business to grow. All right, appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day and week. All right, thank you.